You are now listening to The Perfect Prana with Kyah Ann. What's poppin'? What's good? Hello, my friends. You are listening to The Perfect Prana Show on 88.1 FM WCRX, also available on Apple and Spotify. I'm Kyah Ann, your host and a yoga instructor on the Chicago scene, and I'm very happy and blessed to be here with you guys today. If you love yoga, this is the perfect place to be, and if you do not love yoga, this is still the perfect place to be because we have the usual up for you guys. We have the yoga news where I talk about what's going on in the world of yoga controversies. Sometimes if it's like a national day or something. Yoga Heals, where I bring on a special guest and have a conversation with them about their practice. And the weekly wellness challenge. But before we get into all of that, let's center ourselves. Let's take this moment to go inward. Let's take this moment to focus on our breath, our prana translating to breath as in the breath of life, our energy source, our life force with many translations, but let's focus on that for a minute. So no matter where you're at, whatever you're doing, you're sitting down, you're sitting on the couch, you're sitting on the floor, you're laying in your bed, or you're driving in your car, going on a walk, you know, it could be anything. If you're sitting down, then sit up nice and tall, lengthen your spine, or if you're laying down, maybe just lay long. You can lengthen your spine and lay down, creating just a nice line of energy from your tailbone to your crown so breath can effortlessly flow through you. Maybe plant your feet onto the ground. I know that's not possible for everybody, but just maybe. And lately I've been doing this to help me release tension from my shoulders. So everybody just take a deep breath in, shrug your shoulders all the way up to your ears. And then exhale to drop them down like, and just imagine me dropping down my shoulders intensely. And we could do that one more time. Inhale to shrug your shoulders up. And then exhale to just drop them down. Good. Feel stillness in your entire body. The only thing moving is our belly with our breath. Go ahead and push out all your breath. And take a nice slow inhale through your nose. Fill up your belly like a balloon. And then exhale. Let out that sigh like pooling in your belly button. Make it the longest sigh possible. Push out all the air possible. Inhale through your nose. Right into your belly, into your rib cage, into your lungs. Exhale, let out that sigh, making it long and drawn out as possible, pooling in your belly deeply. Inhale through your nose. Let your breath travel to each part of your body, nourishing it. And then exhale with stillness, letting out that sigh, relieving tension, releasing anything that is not serving you. Let's take one more deep inhale together. Nice and steady through the nose, filling up your belly. Letting the breath travel up your body. Then exhale, sighing, feeling the breath leaving your belly. Let your breath come back to a steady rhythm. I declare centeredness. Let's get on with the rest of the show. Yoga news. Car slams into yoga studio in Orlando. It's always Florida, they say. No, but seriously, this was crazy. Basically, this driver, they crashed into the studio around like midnight, and then they drove away. there was severe damage to the studio. Luckily, nobody was in the studio. It happened at night, and people were shook. They were like, where'd the driver go? Yikes. Well, it sucks that people's studio was taken away, and I hope that they still get to continue their practice, because that sucks. Also today for the yoga news, it is National Random Acts of Kindness Day. I feel like a lot of yogis talk about kindness, and it's all about having heart chakra, yay, be kind, be loving, embody love, give love, receive love, 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 love. And I'm with it. I'm with the movement. I could use more love. I could use more love. I could give more love, for sure. And definitely reflecting on things on my life, as this was the week of love, so it was a lot of reflection, let me tell you that. And I'm on this National Day website calendar, and I'm gonna read a few of their ideas, things that might be nice to exercise, random acts of kindness, which this is actually February 17th. So the day that this airs, it is a good day to do a random act of kindness, and to really embody love and to do things out of love. And I would say definitely for yourself, but definitely for others around you. And I want to think about that. Like, what's something kind I could do for somebody in my life, or that I just cross paths with? Let's see. Pay for somebody's coffee, leave a kind note for someone, share words of encouragement, drop off a load of groceries at the food pantry, mail a thank you card, get flowers for somebody. See, we're still in the love mood. Just smile at somebody. I know that's right. Just look at people and smile. That is so important. Honestly, when I feel love, like I can feel love in my body, those are my best days. When I feel love in my entire body, everybody that I cross paths with, I'm smiling, and it's just, those are the best days. I live for days like those, when I am just, love is just in me and it's just permeating off of me. Like, those are the best days, and I hope that everybody gets to experience that. I hope everybody gets to experience love. Experiencing love almost feels like a human right. Anyways, this will be a short show, so don't mind me. On to the personal yoga news. February 17th, Saturday, the day that this airs, I will be teaching at Yoga View Community Class, North Elston location, at 2 o'clock. Yay, it's free to whoever wants to come. Really building my teaching experience, really building up my practice. I honestly feel like I am pretty happy with my progression as a teacher. From where I started and where I'm at now, I definitely feel like I'm understanding alignment so much more, and learning about yoga so much from doing the show and just from being in spaces to learn about yoga. Yeah, whoever wants to come, it would be a good class to come to, as I'm really building. Come have a party with me. Anyways, on to the part everybody is waiting for. Yoga Heals, this week's guest, Deb Weinman. She was actually one of the teachers to lead my yoga teacher training, and I am so appreciative of the energy she brought to the training. She definitely is such a sweet lady. She trained in 2008 and she's been teaching ever since, and her mission is to create a welcoming, brave, inspiring, and judgment-free space where individuals can come together, explore, learn, and experience the transformative practice of yoga. That's pretty accurate. She definitely stuck by that. I definitely admire that she teaches all types of communities, and that was very big for her. So yeah, let's just get on with the interview. Thank you so much for coming on my show. How are you doing today?
I'm good. I'm really good. Thanks.
It was just Valentine's Day. Was it a good day? Did you feel the love?
It was. Oh, I did feel the love. I didn't have any expectations. When I was younger, it was like, okay, who's going to send me a Valentine gram? Who's going to send me flowers? What am I going to do? Do I have a partner? This Valentine's Day really caught me at a time where I feel very content. My husband and I were both really busy, and so we carved out a little time to have a quick dinner. But I feel loved.
Oh, that's so sweet. I'm so glad that you feel loved. You
Yeah,
deserve to
and
feel that.
I've been practicing a lot of self-love for the last few years, very intentionally. So that helps.
Yes, ma'am. Okay, so the real question that I ask all of my guests is, when did you start practicing yoga and why do you still practice yoga today?
Okay, so let's go back. Oh, 25 years ago. I had two small kids. I moved to a new community. I left a corporate job. I was grieving the sudden loss of my father. So I kind of had a lot going on, and I just quit my job cold turkey. We moved, and I was seeking community. And I had dabbled a little bit in yoga, when I was living in the city of Chicago, and then I moved up north to the suburbs. And I found a yoga studio, and I loved the conversations we were having after class. I loved how I felt physically, but also just I early on felt that this is I'm onto something. So I just started taking classes. I put my kids in activities or had babysitters so that I could run to yoga, and it really helped me navigate a busy life as a mom, and make me feel a part of something bigger.
Mm.
So
And
that was like in my early 30s. And then when I turned 40, I decided I'm going to do a teacher training. I didn't know anyone who had done one, except one person, actually. And I asked her all about it. And she encouraged me to take a yoga teacher training, a 200-hour. And that was when I was 40. Now I'm fast forward 55. I've been teaching for 15 years. And it's kept me going. It's why I'm here. I really see my yoga practice as a life practice that helps me navigate, the ups and downs, the inevitable ups and downs. And it helps me connect to my heart when I'm on the mat. I practice a variety of styles of yoga, but when I'm on my mat connected to my breath and movement, I connect to my essence in a way that no other activity really helps me do. And so it just keeps me authentic. It keeps me understanding myself.
Hmm. Thank you so much for sharing that. I like that. I mean, you touched on connecting to your heart, connecting to your essence. And I really like that you brought up, I mean, why you started practicing was for community, because that is something that is very important and that a lot of people are looking for these days. I guess, do you have any advice? Like, let's say somebody is looking to find community through yoga. And okay, just going to go to this yoga class at this yoga studio. How do you really build community there and like feel like you're a part of the community? Because it's like I could go to a class and then like, it's like, okay, thank you. And
Right.
then bye. Like,
Totally. It can be really intimidating. Actually, that's why a lot of my time I spend bringing yoga to different communities, people who wouldn't normally come into a yoga studio, because I do understand that they're hard to find. And it can be intimidating if you don't have a friend to go with. But I can say that I and so many of the teachers that I'm with on a daily basis, we all strive to create really welcoming, safe spaces that everyone feels welcome. And I always ask I always suggest when I start a class that people turn to the person next to them and say hello. I really feel like I have a little hashtag, yoga friends are the best friends. You don't have to know anything about them, age doesn't matter, where they're from, what they do, but we're all here to just feel better and do better. And so that immediately creates a bond. And yes, I would, any listeners that are thinking about uh, starting a yoga practice, there's also lots of online stuff. So maybe just get a sense of what this practice feels like. There's so many different styles, but just, find a studio and try it out. And I think that people will find like-minded, like-hearted souls next to them.
That is a really good idea to incite community like in a yoga class, cuz I've definitely gone into spaces where it's like I just didn't talk to anybody. Like it's just really easy to not talk to people or to not acknowledge people and for people to not really acknowledge you. So it is kind of like, I want to get more comfortable in spaces to where I'm open to everybody and talking to everybody. And then I want to create the space for people to be talking to each other and connecting with each other. So that is a good idea to turn to your neighbor and say hello.
Mhm.
I might add that to my class sometime if that's on my heart. I guess kind of the next question I wanted to get into was just about I guess some of your philosophies, what's something that you carry close to your heart or keep at the forefront of your mind? And then you could also talk about how yoga's impacted that maybe.
Oh, okay. My life philosophy is to show up fully, do the best I can. There's a great quote by Ram Dass, who's a spiritual author and luminary, that says, "We're all just walking each other home." And that's always stuck with me. We're all just doing the best we can. And so, what I can do to make everyone around me feel elevated, I can do that. And so, I really aspire to show up fully and practice kindness and compassion and just do the best I can. Yoga is, as you know, not only poses, but not only a body practice, but it's also a mind practices, a bunch of practices, and heart practices. There are beautiful teachings from like the sacred texts of yoga, the ancient texts that provide guidelines for just higher living. And you may remember from yoga teacher training, the yamas and niyamas. There are 10 ways that we can show up in the world. And if we do, we just move towards wholeness. It's not like they're commandments or rules. If you don't do them, you'll be punished. It's more like, here are guidelines so that you can feel better and move towards wholeness. And so, the first few are kindness or non-harming behavior, truthfulness, non-attachment, generosity. So all those qualities, all those guidelines that come from ancient texts in yoga have really helped me stay the course.
Is there ever a point where you feel like, or where you felt like, I'm not doing the best that I can? I could do better.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, that also brings me to another really important part of my practice is I've really been prioritizing rest and relaxation. And even though I thought I was resting and relaxing for all those years, I really wasn't. I was pushing myself. And I always say the body doesn't lie. For me, every time I get really sick, I just know, okay, my body's telling me something. And so about 5 years ago, I got a really bad flu, and it just took me down. It really took me down. And what I realized in retrospect was I was just so depleted, and my body was really telling me something. And so since then, that was really a wake up call. I have been focusing on my own rest, but really helping others rest. Yes. So bringing me back to how I could do better. I know when I'm not able to show up fully, and I'm really better attuned with what kind of self care I need in order to show up better.
Well, what kind of self-care do you need? Out of curiosity.
I know, I know. Self care for me really looks like moderation and rest, which is also one of the Brahmacharya, one of the yamas, moderation. In the past, I have found myself just spinning out of control because I'm spread too thin. I'm trying to do too many things. And I'm much more conscious now about practicing this idea of moderation, moderating my own energy
Yes,
and
ma'am.
serving. Yeah,
Yeah, I'm still always trying to find the balance between
always.
that. Like it's an ongoing journey with that one is doing things in moderation. Okay, I guess that was kind of one of my other questions I wanted to know was what were you working on with your practice right now is rest and relaxation. I guess what is like a restful or like a relaxing practice look like to you? And then also when do you challenge yourself or like where's the line between okay relaxing and okay like I'm challenging myself self-improvement,
Okay.
how do you balance those?
Most of the classes I offer here in Chicago are vinyasa flow classes. I was trained in the Ashtanga vinyasa style tradition. And so my classes tend to be a slow flow, but a little fire, kind of rigorous, kind of to burn through any lethargy and just kind of get the body going. For me, yoga helps me stay strong. I tend to want to just take the easy way out. So it definitely pushes me physically. And so I really value that practice. More of the restful practices I like to do at night, just different guided meditations, yoga nidra, which is translated as yoga sleep. It's really just a yoga practice that is so accessible. Anyone can do. You just lie down and listen to a guided meditation that really brings you into a space of deep, deep rest where you can see clearly, where it's a portal to just clarity. So, yoga nidra, guided meditations, sound healings. I've been really getting into playing the singing bowls myself. I have a bowl at home, and I love the vibrations and the tones, and just more of a gentle practice at night, restorative. I use a lot of props, so I like to offer them either on. They work really well if I'm leading a retreat. So in the afternoon or evening, we would practice a whole restorative practice and maybe end with a guided meditation or sound healing.
In the spirit of Valentine's Day, I do want to ask you something is when do you feel loved and appreciated the most and how do you show love and appreciation?
Mm. What a beautiful question. I feel love and appreciated when mm, when I'm sharing yoga with people, when I'm either in the seat of the teacher or just in the community practicing together. Like I said, when we first started talking, yoga really helps me connect with my heart. Some things you just can't touch or see, you got to feel with the heart. And yoga helps me do that. And so that's where I can really access the heart center. I show love just by being myself. And yoga helps me get to that place where I can really be myself instead of the narratives or the beliefs or, outdated thoughts. Yoga helps me really connect with what's true. And that's where I can feel that exchange of love when I'm operating from a place of truth and wholeness.
Mm. Truthfulness, another part of yoga philosophy. That is a good point. I guess when the people around you, like some people might not be receptive to yoga, how do you show love to them?
Mm. Well, I just without judgment. I mean, I remember when I first started teaching and some of my friends didn't want to, I don't know, for whatever reason, they were hesitant to try my classes. And I just knew that they would when they were ready. And so I just tried not to have any judgment. Um, and yeah, I feel like it's not the only way in to the heart. For me, it's a way that really works and elevates my life. But there are so many other ways. And so I just hope that um, we can still connect through the heart, um, but not necessarily it needs to be on the yoga mat.
Right. I love that you said that, though. That's been the theme of my life lately. Step out of judgment into curiosity. My
Yes.
teacher always says that. And that is really important because I've been recognizing like nobody likes to feel judged. They don't
Mhm.
like to feel judged. And then like it just doesn't feel good to judge people either. Um,
Mhm.
it like, working to understand people and just hold space for people. So that's kind of like, I don't know, been the theme of life lately and considering that it's Valentine's Day. So I
Yes.
just had to ask you that. I felt loved in the teacher training by you and the other teachers. And I am really glad that you guys shared that practice with us. So it
That
was,
was the best summer.
it was a time.
A love fest.
No, thank you so much, Deb. I will be putting your website in the show notes and or if you wanted to say anything or add anything, feel free. But I guess I was gonna ask you next, just to lead us through a quick pranayama, your choice. Like, yeah, just a few breaths.
Sure, sure. Okay, well, first I want to say before we sit and have a moment together that I'm so proud of you and I'm so happy for you and happy for your listeners. I really appreciate you prioritizing wellness. When we're well, we can change the world. We can elevate the world. So thank you for making it more accessible to more people.
Thank you so much.
For everyone listening, just take a moment to get comfortable. Close your eyes if that's comfortable for you, or just soften your gaze. Feel grounded in your base. If you're sitting or standing, just feel the earth below you and reach up through the crown of the head. And just bring your attention inward. Find your breath. Let's just breathe together a little bit slower than normal. Finish the breath you're on. And take a deep breath in through the nose. Fill up your whole body, expand your heart center with breath. And then exhale slowly through the nose. Inhale through the nose. Pause at the top. Let your heart absorb the vital breath and exhale slowly. One more breath together. Inhale, vitality, love, vibrancy. And exhale, sending that out into the world. Just relax your breath. Slowly open your eyes, taking in your surroundings. And just know that sometimes it just takes 3 conscious breaths to completely change the trajectory of your day.
Thank you so much, Deb. Namaste.
You're welcome, Kyah.
Weekly Wellness Challenge. Last week's challenge, if you don't know, you're going to know that I've been following yoga philosophy for my challenges this season. I've been going in order. We did Asteya, non-stealing last week, and the challenge was to reflect on things that you feel that you are lacking and to affirm that you are abundant, because the root of stealing is lacking. Argue with your mom about it if you don't agree, whatever. But from what I've read and reflected on, whenever we're stealing, usually it's because we're lacking something. So think about what you're lacking and to affirm that you're abundant in it, or just affirm that you have faith that you can create abundance in this area, that you will be abundant in this area, that you'll do what you need to do to get what you need to get in an honest way. Basically, more or less, that was the challenge. And I did reflect on things that I lacked, or that I felt that I lacked. And boy, oh boy, oh boy, we're not going to get too personal in here. I mean, I feel like I get really personal in here, but we're not going to get too personal, okay? It's really interesting how we feel really might affect our behavior at times. And just being aware of that is always the first step. I feel like change always starts with awareness. So even being aware of, dang, this is how I felt, and dang, how I've been acting is congruent with how I feel, even though in reality this is the circumstance. I don't know, it was definitely a reflective week, to say the least. Anyways, on to this week's weekly challenge. Since we're going in order, Brahmacharya, which translates to the right use of energy. Oftentimes this one is translated to celibacy or chastity. It really just depends on who you ask. But, I read a little bit about it, and I, looked up different sources on the internet. And then I also pulled out my book, Yoga Sutras of Patanjali, interpreted by Mukunda Styles. Brahmacharya translates to behavior that respects the divine as omnipresent. The source on the internet says it translates to behavior which leads to Brahman, and Brahman is the creator in Hinduism. So the divine, and I'm like, okay, so this is just a lot. Like, how am I going to make a challenge out of this? Like, how can we observe Brahmacharya? what can we actually do to observe this? So then I started thinking, okay, when I think of the divine, I do think of creator. I think of creativity. And when I think of getting in touch with your higher self or embodying the divine in yourself, it is being creative, creating things for yourself and for other people, creating environments, creating life, creating. There's just so much to create, everything does start from within ourselves, and then we grow it into so much more, and that's amazing. But what can we do for a little small challenge this week? This week I decided that this week's weekly challenge will be for us to create. I really do feel my highest self when I am creating something, especially when it's good. It could be anything you want, just for a couple ideas. If you like to write, even if you don't like to write, you just want to try it out. Maybe you can create a poem. You can write a poem. That's creating. You can write a song. That's creating. You could draw a picture. That's creating. Me personally, how I like to create, I like to cook. I like to make meals, really good meals for myself, to my, what I think is good. This week, maybe I will create a meal that's not my go-to. Maybe, normally I'm just like a beans, rice, cabbage kind of girl. Maybe this week I'll create a salad. I'll make a salad or something. I don't know. There's just so many ways to create. It could be writing or some form of photography. You can create your own yoga flow. If you're the type of person where you usually get your practice on the internet or at a class, maybe try creating your own yoga flow this week. Maybe you can design something. I don't know, just something where you're tapping into your creative energy, because I do feel like that is something that leads us a little bit closer to Brahman, or our divine energy. That's just my opinion though. And I feel like that's only a start. That's like the surface of behavior that's in line or leads to Brahman, or that respects Brahman. But I definitely feel like one of the first steps is to just create something, create more, consume less, balance it out. We consume a lot. So let's create something. Even if we consume the things that we create, let's create it, just at least one thing this week. There is complete freedom with this, by the way. Whatever you have, if you already have a creative hobby or something, and I just say practice that and embody your divinity when you are doing your creative hobby. If you don't, I say try something out. Try something that's creative. It feels like you have to be creative to do this. Just try it out. Anyways, that's the show. It was a short show this week. But before we go, I always like to end with a quote. And I chose this quote in relationship to last week, because I did touch on enlightenment a little bit, and I don't know, I just wanted to read something out of a book about enlightenment. This is Yoga Beyond Belief, Ganga White, and it was one of my books from teacher training. But basically the quote is, enlightenment is not a place we get to nor an attainment, but an endless journey of seeing, learning, awakening, and reawakening. And let me tell you, that deeply resonates with me. And I don't know who else that resonates with, but anyways, it's been lovely talking with you guys this week. This is the Perfect Prana Show on 88.1 FM WCRX, available on Apple and Spotify. And with that being said, may the divinity within me bow to the divinity within you. Namaste.